You know, the thing that struck me was his modulations, how stark they are.
Yes.
I don't know if other people felt that. Like even within the symphony, you're just like, holy cow, just I'm going down a half step,
Boom.
going down
So
a half step.
radical, right?
You know, was that pretty radical at that time? Would people in the audiences be?
I wouldn't say it was
Surprised by that?
radical so much because Haydn had already gotten them used to that.
Okay.
The person who is very fond, my friend Ellie calls this a plot modulation. You just go plot, you know, into the key. And Haydn was very fond of those. But Beethoven was the first to use them to the degree he did, and sometimes also for their sheer shock value, which he did. Sometimes, not in this piece, but sometimes one of those things actually becomes an idea that runs through a whole piece, that these kind of modulations actually wind up being part of a broader scheme of things. So, but another part of the use of that, when you think about it, especially there in the coda, which is the part added to the end after the form has run through. The coda is those sudden staircasing modulations. It's a way also of kind of making you go, what, you know, picking up. It's a little bit like a splash of cold water. And it's good psychology. A movement that long is, especially, I left out the repeat of the exposition, which is often repeated. A movement that long was a real challenge for an audience of that era. And it still is a challenge today. There was a writer in 1829 who heard this symphony for the first time in England, and he said, you know, if they don't cut this thing, it's going to go into disuse. You know, he just thought it was too long.
We have a comment from Lisa. She says, it seems like Hollywood at its best.
Yes.
She says, it's more punchy and dramatic, shifting textures quickly than the music that came before. I really agree with that.
Yeah, it does. It's very much looking forward to the Romantic era to come, with a whole panoply of emotional states, just one after another, coming along.
I have a comment / question. Right smack in the middle of the piece, there's this part that always strikes me every time I hear it. It's almost like shockingly dissonant to me. It's like the brasses kind of blare, bah, bah, and the strings coming with a da 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 da.
Yeah.
What's going on there harmonically?
Well, harmonically, what's interesting is in some cases, if you're doing the one I'm thinking of, is that actually the brass is in one key and the strings are in another, to some degree. And Beethoven was never afraid to do that. Right at the end of the development, he brings in the primary theme a little too early. Horn starts going boo, bum, 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 and it's not its chord. And in fact, one of the early hearers said, "Do you hear that stupid horn player? Came in too early?" You know, with that. So what he's doing literally sometimes is he's layering. So you'll have something going on that if you were to look at it alone, you'd say that's in this key, and there's something down there in another key, you'd think that's in another key. He does that quite a bit. He was going to do that again in the Fourth Symphony as well, what he does. So it's one of his little tricks, you know. Good one.